Hey everybody, it's starting to happen overseas. The poorest people on the earth are about to starve to death. The UN, what are they calling it? The WFP, World Food Program, is cutting 50% of their food. This is a really big deal. Food riot risk continue to soar worldwide. Have you noticed the food riots?
Overseas, I've seen it in like different places.
It's in like 6, 7, 8 places. I'll put some clips in this video, maybe at the end.
Yeah.
It's really wild. When people can't find food, they riot.
Absolutely, they do. They got to feed their families.
And I've often wondered when it was going to start here. I wonder what percentage of a man's paycheck it's going to take to have riots about food and fuel.
Yeah, well, I got online, I tried to look, and I couldn't find any place where they've cut food supplies this drastically from the World Food Program to overseas countries. I couldn't find where they cut it this drastically. So that means kids will starve.
And this is a quote. I highlighted in green what the quotes were because this David Beasley guy strikes me as a pretty good dude. He works for the UN, so I don't really know all the details of that, but they do feed a lot of people. Quote, U.S. global hunger soars way beyond the resources available to feed all the families who desperately need the WFP's help. We are being forced to make a heartbreaking decision to cut food rations for refugees who rely on us for their survival. Beasley pointed out that the WFP already significantly reduced. See, these things were getting bad as before the Ukraine debacle.
Yes.
Before Russia invaded Ukraine, there was already food shortages. Now they're really starting to get hammered. And what the scary part is, when there's food problems, there's usually war problems.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that and probably in the next video, but just know that cuts up to 50% are going to affect 3 out of every 4 people. Out of all the refugees supported by the WFP in Eastern Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, South Sudan, and Uganda. Severe funding constraints significantly reduce rations. Quote, despite generous support from donors, resourcing remains insufficient to meet the very basic needs. So it sounds like they're getting the donations.
They are. But the donations have gone down because of the economy. And so they can't even, food's gone down. If you look everywhere, food supply's gone down, so they can't even buy it.
They can't source the product.
Right. Yes. It's become an issue. When I read this, man, it was really hard to read because they normally feed like 10 million per year, and they're cutting it in half. So that means all those families.
In 2021,
kids,
the WFP assisted nearly 10 million
that's
refugees.
what I thought. And they said with the Ukraine war that's happened, they've had to divert a lot.
An additional 6 million refugees since the Ukraine war.
Right. So they've had to divert a lot of this.
So they got 16 million people that they're feeding.
Yes.
From what I understand.
Yes. So a lot of that food's gone to the Ukraine war. So all these previous countries that were getting, I guess, a lot of these food and sources or whatever are not getting them. So there's a lot of kids, moms, dads that are not getting.
I just can't imagine.
I can't either.
It's craziness.
And so what does that mean? So not only is that happening happening there, but our food supply is going down here. We've talked about this. So how does that start affecting us then? If they are reducing it by 50% overseas, how is that going to affect us then?
Well, this is going to be a global thing. Just like the Great Depression.
I think we need to talk about it.
It's going to be a global thing. The Great Depression was a global thing, and it was a lot worse in other places than it was here.
Right.
So this is going to be a big deal, and we've already been talking about it. I've been saying for a while that when you look overseas and you see what's happening to these people, it's going to make you physically ill. It's going to be disgusting to watch people starve to death. I can't think of a worse way to die.
So that's the reason why I guess Chris says a lot on his channel, and he's been really good about this. Get a little extra. Start to learn how to grow a little food. And it's so important. And we need to do a video, I guess, about that, about how maybe some seeds and stuff. But it's so important to do that.
And do what you can. If they don't, some people don't have land.
No, you don't. That's right. But find people that can.
But you can stick oatmeal in a bag and rice.
Yes.
I mean, this is simple stuff. I eat oatmeal every day.
Yes.
I would never buy food that I didn't eat. Let me finish the last sentence and discuss it a little bit. It says many facing starvation right now will be forced to pay with their lives. WFP warned in April about the toxic combination of food distributions due to the Ukraine conflict and soaring food inflation that has created an unprecedented global food crisis that is only worsening. So we're here, guys. We're in the descent. When you see stuff like this, it makes you wonder how bad it's actually going to get here. And I think we're probably going to do better than most everybody.
Yeah.
But you can be sitting on a pile of gold and silver and Bitcoin and everything, and if you don't have goods and services to buy, I'm so thankful when we go out somewhere, when we go to a meetup or anything, and I have people that's like cooking the food and they're willing to work. It makes it worth going and doing. If you don't have those people, then
it's true.
It's not fun.
Nope.
If there's no goods and services, then who's wealthy?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. I don't know. I think we're in for some interesting times.
Yeah, it seems like we are. Well, guys, I want you to have an awesome day, and more of this stuff's going to come up, and I'm going to try to stay on top of it. Later.